here with Dustan Hlady, my brother, and we're here to talk about movies, movie theories, and just thought this would be a good idea to talk to you and just chat.
Philosophical questions.
So, does a film soundtrack make or break a film?
So I say what I feel, and you say what you feel?
Yes.
Okay. So most of the time, you don't even notice the soundtrack, and so that's like whatever. But every once in a while, you get a movie where the music is really prominent, and I love those films, but it can't be like that all the time. You know, Almost Famous, like the music is so prominent in that. Like pretty much every one of Cameron Crowe's films, he has characters singing while they're driving. So in Almost Famous, it's when they're all on the bus and they're singing, "Hold me closer, tiny dancer."
So
right?
in his movies, they relate to the characters get invested in the
You
song.
see who the character is, who the characters are, by what they sing when they're driving. So in Say Anything, it's like, I believe there's a couple singing while driving. One is the dad, and he's really happy, and he's like, the rubber tree, and he's like singing along and having a great time. And so you get to see so it immediately expresses the emotion. You know he's happy. You know how happy he is. You know what era of music is his favorite. I love it. I love movies like that. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Probably the only good thing about that movie is the soundtrack. It's amazing. That Thing You Do.
That.
Oh my gosh.
See, for me, that one, it was just on the crisp of they were playing the one song way too much, and then they switched it up, and I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, they played the song like 4 times, which is interesting. But by the end, you know the whole song. They do play other songs. Come on, pretty baby.
I know. So, what makes a great movie, in your opinion?
What makes a great movie? Oh, I don't know. Some people will tell you there's different rules. There's things you need to do. There's certain character arches you need to do. You know, so there's even people I know that'll be like, you know, this is what a good film is. And even stuff I do, I've got friends who are more critical of it because it doesn't, you know, stuff like I write doesn't fit very well into. Well,
don't be so hard on yourself.
But it's not like, you know, like I don't follow any guidelines. I don't divide my writing up into Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I don't say, okay, this is the climax of the story. This is this. I think that's boring. I think everything that is, for me, if it's a rule, if it's a writing rule, if it's a movie rule, it's at least on some level it's cliche. Even if you can do something interesting with the cliche. Yeah. And some of my favorite filmmakers are filmmakers who reject, you know,
the status quo.
You know, what people say a film should be or a script should be, and honestly, like, and some people say, well, you need to follow it before you can break the rules. No, break the rules whenever you want. You don't need to learn it to break the rules. Just don't do it. Do whatever you want. And so for me, there's only one rule: is it interesting? That's the only rule. I don't care what character arches. I don't care about anything. Is it interesting? Do I want to keep watching? And that doesn't. And I love slow films, so that's not like I need action like every 10 pages. But I do need to be engaged. One of my favorite filmmakers is Richard Linklater, and his first film was just a camera following around people in Austin, Texas. And they're basically, it's just one person kind of...
Is that the famous one shot and done movie, The Longest Shot?
Well, no.
Or is that another movie I'm thinking
They do take a lot of long shots, but it's not like one shot the whole movie or anything. Okay. It's not like Rope or something like that.
No, Rope had cuts.
They're not trying to do one shots. I think they just had to because they only had so much access to editing equipment because they were like splicing film. You know, it's like old school. But I loved it because there's like no discernible like cliche storytelling thing. It's just people talking about their lives and where they're at, And some people hate that, but I think it's interesting. It engages me. And some of his other films, like Before Sunrise, where it's just Ethan Hawke and what's her name, and they just walk around. I think it's Prague. They just walk around all night talking, and I love it because it's kind of like it does spit. I don't think it intentionally spits in the face of what people think a movie should be, but so I don't know. So my only rule is, does it bring me in? And I like it when it's different.
What makes a good movie? When I get caught up in everything that's happening, and I start to realize that all that I'm going through is making me so invested in it that I'm actually liking every single thing I'm seeing. It's like it's just like anyone getting into a story. You know, it's like everything works when everything starts to work for me, and and things start, and every little detail. It's not just because I think we tend to say, oh, okay, well, I like that scene or I like that, so we choose. And I think for me, what makes a great movie is when I don't have a choice of choosing. It's just great in itself, and I don't have to take, well, I'll take this and I'll take this character and I'll take that character. But when I can just relate to everyone, and I can relate to the themes and the story and the plot and everything, that's when I think I've encountered a great movie. Question 3.
Cool.
After going to see a movie in theaters, how good is your mind at remembering scenes from that movie, or do you have to rewatch it to remember all that you watched?
I think it depends on the film, for sure. Like, I can't remember anything about the plot in Transformers.
Fair enough.
But I'll remember, I'll remember movies and scenes in movies, and I'll like replaying them in my mind, like I'm going over like a childhood photo album. Like I'll replay movies in my head all the time. Movies I'll never watch a second time, and but I'll just think about them, like, and it's interesting. Like I'm always interested what movies stick in my head because they're relevant to my life, and I think about them. Like, so this year at the Oscars, my favorite film was Manchester by the Sea, but I hardly really thought about the film after I watched it. I just watched it and was like, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. And
then that was it. Whereas like La La Land, a movie that I liked, but it wasn't like, I didn't think it was the greatest film of the year. That one, I thought about that one so much because it's all about dreamers and pursuing your goals, like something that I'm doing presently. What about you?
Well, sometimes 2 months or 6 months later, I ponder up a movie, and I often think about scenes out of that movie, and I think to myself, that really stood out. It's usually when I'm either working or my mind is just being exercising in another way, having to learn a new trade or a new skill or something, and then I'll usually think back when my brain is kind of just having that rest time. I think back and I kind of ponder on scenes that I've seen, and most of them are usually heavy dramatic. For me, I like the scene in $1 Million Baby when she's about to win and she ends up, spoiler alert, she ends up getting a lot of films.
Does she die?
She was paralyzed.
What?
So
I haven't seen it.
Whoops.
You got me paralyzed. That's Chris's song. Oh, Tranquilized. I really like that song of yours, by the way. Tranquilized. Even though I was singing that like all week after I was like, you got me. Except for I think I was singing Paralyzed.
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 I couldn't use that because Finger 11 did that song.
Yeah, Finger 11 does it first. You can't do it second. My question for you is, are there any things in movies or maybe certain values or traditions or anything that you got from movies that you think about when you're making decisions or you're living your life that like have stuck with you?
Yeah. Strange as you might say that, there is one. I think about this quite a bit, and it was for a while I was obsessed with pop. I had a lot of pop, and usually it didn't matter, but Dr. Pepper was my go-to pop, so it became kind of a thing for me. And I didn't realize, but as I was having all this sugar, I was getting mood swings. Quite often, you get anyone that has a lot of sugar intake can get mood swings and get cranky or get just something has kind of a, I wouldn't say like a hold over me, because it's not like a drug or anything, but it is kind of like something that I went back to all the time, and I didn't like how it was something that I went to try and make myself feel better, because it gives you that high, right? Like sugar gives you that,
love it.
And so you want more. And when I watched X-Men Days of Future Past, and Professor Xavier is taking these drugs to help him walk, and and like deep down you're just like, no, we know that he's in a wheelchair. Why is he taking this? And he's sacrificing his powers just so he can walk. Oh, why can't he learn? And he finally comes to his senses and says, no, I'm not going to take the drugs anymore. And just that alone was enough to make me say, yeah, you know what? Screw this Dr. Pepper. I don't need it in my life. And I went cold turkey.
Dr. Pepper free?
I'm Dr. Pepper free to this day.
Hallelujah.
And so that was something that did change, and my values changed as well.
You know what was one for me?
What?
So Oceans 11, 12, whatever. I think it mostly gets driven home in Oceans 12, but they have a very, like how they recruit people is they say, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, are you in or are you out?
Yeah.
And people go, I'm in. And they're like, great. And they go, I'm out. Fine.
Right.
And they don't try and convince anyone ever. And like ever since I saw that movie, I stopped ever trying to convince anyone of anything.
Really?
Basically, yeah. So let's say if I'm working on a creative project with people, I'm like, hey, do you want to help with this? Or do you want to do this or that? And people say, yeah. I'm like, great. And if they say no, I'm like, no problem. Like I'll never ever try to manipulate anyone. Since then, because I want people to be as free as I want to be free. But the problem is that I found is people say yes to things that they don't really want to do.
Yeah.
And so getting at people's true motives, because people aren't usually as honest as I guess they could be. So I found that hard. I've been in bands where like there's people that definitely want to quit being in the band, but then they like I say, do you still want to be in the band? They're like, yeah. They don't, but like I'm like, do I have to? I don't know what to do. Yeah, no, I asked them and they say they do, but I know they don't. Yeah. And then it just gets dragged off for months and months, and it's like. But I guess I'm the same thing. I always commit to things I don't want to do, and then I'm like, take forever to quit. Yeah.